Welcome to Sampstra Games, the place to find new strategy games, and today I give you a very special game that was recommended to me by one of my patrons, so thank you for that. So I reached out to the developers and they were nice enough to not only give me a key to the base game, but also to the newest DLC, La Resistance, that comes out on the 25th of February. I would like to point out that I've not played the base game, aside from like an hour or so to learn the controls and things like that, but I don't have like 40 hours ready in it. And the second consequences of that is that I'm not sure what is from DLC and what is from the base game. So there are two new countries that you can play with the new DLC, Spain and Portugal. We're going to be playing as Spain. But if there are maybe some changes in mechanics or things like that, I don't actually know them because I haven't played the base game before to be able to tell the difference. So if any of you know, you can write down in the comments so whoever watches this video can read and see, okay, so this comes from DLC and this was a mechanic previously. So we're going to be doing a scenario on 1st January 1936, Gathering Storm. Dark times are coming. In Europe, Hitler has consolidated his power and his attention is now increasingly drawn beyond Germany's borders. Mussolini's Italy continues to embark on daring military adventures, while the Empire of Japan stands poised to attack China in Asia. Almost 20 years have passed since the end of the Great War, and the world has yet again been doused in gasoline. A single spark may be all it takes. Alright. So the two new scenarios are here, Spain and Portugal. So I'm going to read you Spain because that's what we're going to be playing. In the first 5 years of its existence, the fledgling Second Spanish Republic has already had to deal with strikes and military coup attempt, and a major revolutionary uprising. Though it has survived these challenges, Spanish society continues to be marred by political polarization and violence between anarchists, communists, and phalangists. Both sides look toward the upcoming 1936 general election with hopeful eyes, but it's unlikely that the victory of either side will bring a return to stability, and as the violence continues, the military waits and plots. So we have some interesting effect due to this. First of all, military disloyalty, which means that you cannot create new units, essentially. Next up, we have charism, which lowers your weekly stability, divisions attack, division defense, and so on. And finally, we've got political violence, which means that you cannot assign new ministers-in-law, so you can't really do that much at the start of the game. Alright, then we've got Cadulio of Spain. Francisco Franco's achievements have spoken for themselves, and his potential rivals have met untimely ends. Support among the junta is going to appoint him as our official leader, and all that remains is to make an official declaration. No compromise on Carlist ideas. Though we cooperated with the Phalange in our initial uprising, it is now clear to us that compromising on our ideals is tantamount to a treason. If the Phalange does not accept our demands, now we have no choice but to eliminate them too. Or anarchism knows no borders. If the nations of the world do not wish to tolerate us among them, then our only recourse for a future in which we may collectivize in peace is the very abolition of all nation states itself. Alright, so let's start playing. Right. So we have leader Manuel Azaña. We are currently democratic. We've got democratic regime, and next election is in February 1936. We're going to be playing on regular, and off we go. We're going to keep the historical AI focuses. We're not going to turn on the Iron Man mode. Alright, so first of all, let me show you how our party is currently divided. So we have 37% who are fascists, 41% who are democratic, 15% who are non-aligned, and 7% who are communist. And the way this works is because we are currently mostly democratic, we are not allowed to start a war with anybody until the world tension is high enough. So if you're fascist or communist, I think, you can start a war if the world tension is low. But if you're democratic or non-aligned, you actually have to wait till the world tension is high enough. So the only way we can start a war is once the civil war begins, and we're going to have to, well, try to survive like that. So we're definitely going to try to get to that in this episode, in the worst case in the second episode, because I do want to show you the combat. Now, what's the main new thing here is the focus tree. So obviously we've got two different paths. We could either go through the Great Spain path. We're going to try to get more, we're going to increase the popularity of fascism. And the fledgling Second Republic has failed in its duties to protect religion, family, and property. As the left beleaguers our Christian civilization, the Confederation España de Derechos Autónomos will stand in its defense and give Spain true unity and new spirit. Parliament will submit to the will of the people, or we will eliminate it. Or we can go down the communism path and non-aligned path. The danger posed by fascism and religious superstition to our personal liberties is paramount, and we must establish a broad front of political parties that are united in their opposition to the right. Only if we band together will we be able to halt their advance and save our republic. So we're going to go down this path. So off we go. So we're going to pick a national focus. It's going to take 35 days for it to come in effect. The immediate effect is going to be that we're going to have change in popularity of communism by 10% and by non-aligned by 5%. Next up, we can pick our research. So we can have research 3 different things at the same time. The research is really big. It's not just this page, but we've got like a lot of other pages over here. First thing we're going to get is construction in industry. This is going to help us increase construction speed. Next up, I'm going to pick basic machine tools, which is going to increase our production efficiency cap. A variety of newly developed milling machines can be used in military production, from the small and versatile types available to any machine shop to the large scale. Advanced models that push the technological limits. And finally, I want to take... I'm going to go to support companies. I'm going to try to take military police, because what I've read is that apparently this helps you occupy enemy territories without so much resistance. And since we're going to have a civil war, that seems like a helpful thing to do. So let's grab that. So this is what we're going to be researching. Here it tells you the time it takes, and if you try to research something that's not ready this year, like for example this, because it's ahead of its time, it's going to take you much longer to research, so you kind of get a penalty on that. All right. Next up, we've got civilian factories. So we currently have 8 unused civilian factories, so we can use that to build new ones. Civilian factories help you build faster, so we're going to start building that. We have a limit here of how much we can have maximum. We can also place military factories, which is going to allow us to make equipment faster. We're not going to work on that just yet. One more thing we could do is, aside from building civilian and military factories and some of the other things that we're not going to go into just yet, is we could build infrastructure, which increases the natural resources that we have in the area. So if you look at trade, which we have over here, we're currently actually green on everything, but once we start building some more equipment, we might, for example, find out that we need more aluminium. So we have aluminium here. So what we could do is we could try to increase the infrastructure in this area to get more aluminium naturally. I don't know if 2 is going to be enough to increase it, so we're going to check it out. Alternatively, we could, for example, try to get more... So we don't really, maybe more steel or something like that. So anyway, let me show it off. If we go to construction, if I click infrastructure, yeah, okay, so it's not enough to increase the aluminum because we get very little anyway. But if, for example, we were to do it here, you could see that we would get 2 extra steel, which would be pretty nice. So we might do that. We still have, 16 out of 16 factories. We're going to start building first these other 2 civilian factories and then the infrastructure. Next up, we've got production. So essentially what you do is you build a different kind of equipment that helps you when you're making new units. So essentially, if you have this recruit and deploy army, you cannot actually get any new army yet because of the military violence, which we read in the country description. But if we were to, we could click on a new unit that we would train, and essentially that unit needs some equipment, and we are, in the meantime, we are producing all sorts of equipment to be ready for later. Now we have 3 military factories left, and you can actually click here on the logistics to see what would you like to have more of. So we're making a lot of convoys and infantry, so I'm going to try to get some more maybe artillery and support equipment. So let's do production. We're going to add 1 more to artillery, 1 more to support equipment, and we still have 1 factory left. So let's put 2 more to artillery, for example. Now, depending on this color, green means that it's very effective. If it's yellow, it means that it's not that effective yet. Essentially, it's like the factories need to get used to building that type of equipment, which then increases the efficiency, something like that. All right, so we're making this. We're using up all of our dockyards, and we don't really need to repair any ships right now, so I think we're fine on that. All right, so we are done here with the production. Then we've got unassigned divisions. So we're going to grab all of our army, and we're going to assign it to a general. So we're going to pick 1 general over here. We're going to pick, let's go, General Mohammed Mezian. He's nationalist sympathies. He's a harsh leader and he is career officer. He's really good at combat, not so much at defense, but okay with planning and logistics. Alternatively, we could go with Vicent Rojo-Leach, who is a brilliant strategist. I will go with the first one. Let's go with him. Let's just make sure that everybody is joined him. Good. And what I'm going to tell him to do is I'm going to tell him to do military exercises because this will increase the army experience. It will cost us some manpower, but I think it's worth it. We're going to try it out. We've got some insufficient resources. We don't have enough aluminium because we're exporting one. Where are we exporting it to? I think we're gonna leave it. It's only -1, and we could import it, but maybe we'll import it later. If we import, it's gonna cost us the civilian factories, and I want them to build new factories instead. So yeah. We also have some more units over here. Let me join them all up to him. So I want to make sure that we don't have any unassigned divisions. Good. So everybody's assigned. They're going to be doing the military exercise. So we're going to start off the time. I'm going to go like a medium speed, I think. And if you actually zoom in here, I think it's really cool. You can actually see these units exercising. That is very, very cool. I like that a lot. Look at that. Why are you not exercising? Did you join him? Yep. Insufficient resources. I think, you know what, let's import some of this. We're gonna do it. We're gonna use one civilian factory and import some aluminium, and then afterwards we can kind of stop it after some time once we have sort of like enough in stock, let's say. And so now we're gonna move a little bit faster through time so that mostly we can finish up that first national focus that we've got over here, the Popular Front, and once that's done we can sort of start moving on further. Speed it up even more. I gotta say, this exercising thing is so good. And how they're kind of bent over, exhausted, and they keep exercising. That is the best thing ever. And this is increasing us here army experience and also command power. Command power is used for various military operations and promotion of generals. It can be spent on one time. Okay, let me pause. So we finished the Popular Front. And now we can pick a new national focus. So we can choose between secure the Guardia del Zolta or secure the Guardia Civil. So the Guardia Civil increases base stability. Upon the start of the Civil War, we will gain 10 poorly trained units with 3 infantry battalions. The Nationalist will gain 5 trained units with 6 infantry battalions. If neither focus is taken, the Nationalists will receive both types instead. These units will be removed upon the Civil War conclusion. Alternatively, we could get Army experience +5. Upon the start of the Civil War, gain 5 trained units with 6 infantry battalions. The Nationalists will gain 10 poorly trained with 3 infantry battalions. Now, this would be a good decision to know if we knew how much experience matters in this game, which I'll be honest with you, I do not. So we're going to go with the strategy that we care more about numbers than about experience. Because I really want that stability, so we're going to go with this. Let's take it in. Stability, by the way, let me turn the time on again. Stability represents the people's support for the current government. High stability makes political changes easier to push through and helps the economy run through. So because you have bad stability, you can see we get a lot of negative effects like lower political power gain, factory output, dockyard output, and things like that. If you look at the construction, how are we doing with this new factory? Very, very slowly. You can see this progress bar is not going that fast. Spanish election of 1936. Despite massive election campaign by the Spanish Confederation of Autonomous Rights, it is the left-wing Popular Front formed by the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party and Republican left, with the aid of anarchists, communists, and trade unionists, which appears to have won the 1936 election. Yes, that's what we wanted. Illustrating the heavily divided Spanish political landscape, the Popular Front's lead in the popular vote seems to be far more narrow than the comfortable leap in seats would indicate. Whichever new government will be formed under the leadership of President Manuel Azaña in the days and weeks ahead, it will have to deal with an increasingly alienated and hostile political right. Rather than solve the political violence and social unrest that grips our country, it therefore seems likely that the recent election results will only serve to exacerbate it. Only through the extinguish of fascism can Spain survive. So we're going to increase the popularity of communism, unlock, expand garrison control on map, decisions allowing to counter nationalist influence in states. States that do not have total nationalist governments in control upon the start of the Civil War will begin to conflict under Republican ownership. All right, so this is really interesting. So we've got these decisions available here, and essentially what we can do is we can click on one of these if they're influenced by the nationalists and try to turn it in our favor for the Republicans, essentially. Now, at the moment, we're actually kind of fine over here. Everything is under our control for now. You can actually see if you hover over this, it's going to tell you current nationalist control over the garrison known. Current divisions created upon Civil War: 0 for nationalist, 3 for Republican. You could also see here, if we started the Civil War right now, the nationalists would get 24 divisions, we would get 66. So we're actually in a much better position here. So we're actually doing really well. But it could change over time. Now, we do have some political power, which is this thing over here, and we could use it to do some stuff. For example, we could reassign a disloyal leader. Rumors have reached us that the loyalties of certain of our military leaders are in question. We would do well to reassign them to remote postings to keep them from being easily able to continue plotting. So essentially what this does, it gives us extra time, because once the military plot is done, the Civil War will start, and this is going to give us a little bit of extra time to prepare, try to become strong, and things like that. If you're playing for the other side, most of the things you get are actually going to be lowering the military plot time, and it's instead going to give you a chance to get the sort of like revolution faster. Alternatively, we could do concession to the left. The strikes have valid reasons for their concern. We will promise to address them, and in the meantime make concessions in the form of not persecuting illegal land occupation, minor social crimes, and theft. This should serve to somewhat reduce social unrest. It's going to give us stability, more political power gain. It's going to lower construction speed, factory output, and dockyard output. I think I'm okay with that. Let's do concessions to the left. Yep, that's we only have 2 options, so we're gonna go with that. And events or decision timer is just telling you that, you know, some of these decisions will sort of run out of time and then we can't do them anymore, which is okay. And like I said, there's nothing to do here when it comes to the territories, because everyone is under our control right now. Everybody's on my side. We're kind of doing well so far. In the logistics, we don't seem to have enough infantry equipment and support equipment, so I'm going to try to work on that a little bit. So let's take maybe a little bit less from the artillery. I'm going to get that down to 1 and put 1 extra in both of these. And hopefully in the logistics, actually we can't, why is this slow? Production efficiency, because we have production efficiency cap. Okay, so then that was not a good decision, because we wouldn't be able to work that much better anyways, so we might just... Oh, actually, let's do it like this. This extra factory didn't do much of anything here, so it doesn't matter. All right, so we should be okay when it comes to logistics. How are we doing? No, actually, still not that okay. Okay, decisions available. Let's pause. So, what has happened here is that expand influence in the Paiwasco garrison here. All right, it's right here. So essentially actually we can just keep going with the time. It's not that big of a deal. Over here, we've got the Paiwasco garrison, and currently the nationalist control is weak. So we're going to click on that to try to fight it. It's going to cost us 20 political power. We actually don't have that much. So we're going to kind of decide whether we want to use it on these different areas or whether we would rather use it on some of these decisions over here. And you can see, depending on how we control these territories, these number changes. So now it's 25 for the nationalist main and 65 for us. If we take this back, we're going to get a little bit more. They're going to get a little bit less. That's just how it goes. And in the meantime, we're still increasing our command power and army experience. Army experience, as your equipment is used in combat, you gain army experience. This means that you can gain army experience when your divisions engage in battle, or if you have land-leased equipment to your allies' wars. You also gain experience from conducting army exercises with troops that are at least level trained, and from certain nationalist focuses. Alright, stuff is happening. World news. The remilitarization of the Rhineland. Germany has stationed troops in the Rhineland territory close to the French border in clear violation of the Treaty of Versailles. The local population cheered the German soldiers on, while the diplomatic reaction from France and Britain have so far been muted. It is no more than Germans walking into their own backyard, a political commentator in Britain observed. All right, let's keep reading about army experience. Some ministers can gain experience gained. Army experience is needed to create and modify their division templates. All right, so by the way, here we could put new laws. We can actually do that right now because we still have this political violence thing here. But once that sort of goes away, then essentially once the Civil War started, this actually goes away, and then we can start making a regular like laws and decision. All right, things happening as usual. Decisions available. So we finished up doing that area. So they do not have any control here, but they seem to have taken over some other place. In Extremadura garrison. Yep. So it's still 25-65 because we took this back, but they took this instead. We're going to need to increase our political power, I think, so that we can do this more. You cannot have two at the same time anyway, but we want to make sure that once sort of we take control of this again, we have enough political power to do something else and to do one of these. Because right now we can't pick another one of these, which we could otherwise. So this is active for 37 days. Yeah, and it give us, actually, did it give us stability? Maybe, I'm not sure. Right, we could now do political arrest. Our political enemies have resorted to murder to drive their message home. We cannot tolerate this. The perpetrators must be brought to justice. Plus 25 political power, plus stability. Alright, it only cost us 10 too. That's really good. Let's do that. And I do kind of want to show you the Civil War. So on one hand, I'm like happy to do these decisions. On the other hand, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't, so that I can show you what it's like when the Civil War starts, you know? Because, yeah, but we'll see. Might take some other episode, who knows. Now let's speed it up again. I'd like to finish the national focus here. Yeah, secure the Guard of Civil, we're almost done with that. Oh, yep. Alright, let's pick a new national focus. Train the Union youth. Completion time 70 days. Change in popularity of communism plus 5%. Upon the start of Civil War, we gained 5 well-trained units with 3 infantry battalions. Alright, rumblings of disloyalty emanate from the military, and we must be prepared for the worst. We will provide crash courses in the use of weapons and basic military tactics to the dedicated and committed portions of our younger supporters so that they may be armed at moment's notice should the worst happen. Yep. And more decisions available. I assume they took another region. This one. Not gonna happen. Ooh, they now got 30 though. We do have 75 though. So that was the effect actually of the national focus. They got their extra. Didn't they get their extra 10? They only got extra 5. Oh, never mind. Oh, right, because I got the 10 and they got the 5. Yep, okay. Alright, and we're trying to take this over, as always. We do manage to sort of destroy their influence fairly quickly, so that does make me happy. But yeah. And you can see that some of these we have failed because usually we weren't able to do those based on some of the conditions. How are we doing on logistics? Our production lines require aluminium for their production and steel. Do we not have enough steel and aluminium? Apparently not. We did build one extra civilian factory, which is nice. Second London Naval Treaty signed. Delegations from Britain, France, Italy, Japan, and the US met in September of 1935 to discuss the renewal of the First London Naval Treaty, which restricted the number and size of cruisers and submarines. Negotiations turned quite heated over Italy's war in Ethiopia and Japan's desire to be seen as equal to Britain and the US. The negotiations now at an end, the signatory nations have agreed on limits to the size of battleships and aircraft carriers in the hopes of preventing another ruinous arms race. Right? More decisions available. Can I do another garrison? Yep. This one. Alright. Off we go. Yeah, I did want to work on the production. Okay, so we finished basic machine tools, so we can now pick a brand new research. What could we pick? Concentrated industry. Max factories in the state plus 20%. Factory output is increased. Or dispersed industry. Max factories increase, production efficiency increase, factory output increased. Yeah, this gives us way more than this. I think this is better. Let's do this. Yep. Off we go. Now, like, this says we need a lot more steel. Do we not have steel? Trade. How are we on trade? We seem to have a lot of aluminium, so maybe we'll just kind of try to lower that and instead try to get some steel. So let's turn this off. No longer gonna try to get the aluminium. Instead, we're gonna try to get, but we seem to have a lot of steel. Like, we've got 10 steel here. We gain additional 10 steel every I don't know how long of a period this is. I mean, I guess we could import more of it. Sure, that's what you want. We are exporting. It doesn't seem so good idea to import more of it when we're not even using up what we've got. So we're just gonna turn this off. We'll still gain a lot of that. Decisions available. All right. We've got secure leader loyalty, which is gonna give us just the extra time. Concessions to the left is gonna give us stability and political power. We'll do that again, I think. And resources. Yeah, I know it's insufficient resources, but also like, yeah, this is complaining about aluminium as well now. Okay, fine. We'll go back to trading it with France. All right. Let me unpause. Decisions available. Oh, this is a new garrison. Ooh, so this is bad. So this is a total nationalist control, not just a little bit, but a total thing. So we definitely got to work on that. We finished more of our research, so we could set up now for... I'd like to go for motorized so that we could get the field medics. Just going to help us with manpower because we don't actually have that much manpower. So we want to make sure that once that's finished, we could get medics and they could help us out with that. As for industry, what is this? Improved machine tools. Production efficiency, fuel storage, fuel silo. This building provides our nation with more room for stockpiling fuel. Excavation. Advanced engineering allows us to excavate the resources that were impossible to reach earlier. Yeah, let's try that. So we could get some better resources. 132 days for the military plot. All right. And how is our... national focusing? It's kind of going pretty well. Almost done. We are now at 25% communist, 25% fascist, 28% democratic, and 22% alive. We're very split up at the moment. And let's speed it up even more. Time to pick a new national focus. Enlarge the weapon caches. Ever since even before the 1934 Asturias miners' strike, weapon caches have been covertly established throughout the country in preparation for the inevitable need to defend our liberties with military arms. These times of crisis would do well to enlarge them further. +5 army experience. Upon the start of civil war, retain 80% of your equipment instead of 50. Yep. I definitely want that. Right. More decisions available. We gotta keep working on... Oh, we did manage to work this out. Yeah, this went down to strong, so we need to work on it some more to get it to weak. So currently, if the civil war starts, they're gonna get 2 nationalists and we only get 1. Oh, now it's actually 60 to 55, so actually losing quite a bit now. That turned quite a lot. So we're currently doing concessions to the left, so we'll see how well will that go. But yeah, well, we'll see. 56 to 59. We gotta work on you know, yeah, you can see that a lot of these garrisons are now changing to become under their control instead of ours. That's pretty rough for us. That's okay, we'll work on it, we'll get it back. There are also some decisions that are gonna help you. If you're playing, for example, with on the fascism tree, you have 1 decisions that allow you to just like switch control of like half or third of the regions, which is quite a lot. I'm gonna keep working here from the bottom, because we do also want to make sure that once we Italy took Ethiopia. Ethiopia was annexed, okay? We also want to make sure that once the fight starts, that we ideally have sort of like a control of areas that are near each other, so we have a bit of a better stronghold, as opposed to, for example, having like half here, half there, because it's going to be hard for us to fight as we have to fight in multiple fronts. The games of the 11th Olympiad. The 11th Olympic Games were recently held in Berlin, Germany, attended by athletes from 49 different nations across the world. 1936 Olympians are the first in history to have enjoyed limited live television coverage. The games were a significant propaganda victory for the German regime, which spent lavishly on the event. German athletes saw the most success, winning 33 gold medals, while the Americans came in second with 24. 4 of these were won by J.C. Owens, the single most successful athlete of the games. Alright. Good for them. Keep doing these military exercises, by the way. Yep. Keep exercising, man. Come on. He doesn't want to exercise anymore. None of them seem to be. Come on, exercise. Okay, now they're working again. Alright, we gotta take... Okay, we can take a bit more here. Political arrest. More stability. Sure, it's gonna give us 37 days to the military plot, which is... well, we are gonna start the war soon. We need more time right now because we are not doing so well on that. Okay. Let's pick a new national focus. Non-aligned plus 5%. We get 10 untrained units with 3 infantry battalions. Okay. Disloyalty in the military is now all but certain, and it's clear we cannot rely on them to defend the values of the Republic. We should begin disseminating arms to those who carry the best interests of the Republic at heart, so that they may form the first defense against possible rebellion. Alright? Hey, come on, off we go. Let's go, let's go. I just want to start the war in this episode, even though it's like over 30 minutes now. But, yeah. We gotta do what we gotta do. We're just gonna finish this in time, and then we should get extra 37 days. So we're gonna keep working on this garrison, and we're gonna move slowly upwards here towards Extremadura garrison. That's a pretty funny name. 8 days, we've got 5 days on this. 4 days, come on, come on. 1 more day, and then we should get extra days here. Yep, 14 days now. Let's pause. Actually, none of these is gonna be done in time. So there isn't much of a point in trying, I think. Yeah, this is gonna happen in 14 days. Let's keep working on this. 54 to 61 at the moment. And there's nothing we can do to delay it anymore. Alright. It's gonna be interesting. Disperse industry. On the other hand, we do get a lot of these extra when the war starts, so we'll see. Excavation. Construction 2. Gonna take too long. Let's do fuel storage. Yep. Alright, how much longer? How much longer? 9 days. Alright, let's go. They keep on exercising? I think they do. 8 days. Yeah, we're working on this. See if we can change that, get that in time. Yeah, we're gonna be a little bit spread all over the place, which is not ideal. We should have worked on this to at least have like a full control of that region, but we'll see, we'll see. Come on. 5 days? I'm kind of excited. It's not a thing to be excited about, but come on. We've been waiting for this the whole time. Let's go, let's go. And it has begun. The Spanish Civil War. At exactly 5 a.m. this morning, precisely 1 day after contact was lost with the North African garrisons, a well-prepared military operation was launched all throughout Spain with the intention of gaining control of all government institutions and strategic locations in the major cities. Major parts of the Army, Navy, and Air Force have ceased responding to the government orders, while concurrently careless militias have revolted in the north of the country. Complete success of this attempted coup can only be prevented by unofficial people's militias who, through quick actions, have managed to retain control of many of the targeted locations and cities. Despite this failure to meet their initial goals, however, it seems unlikely and the insurrection's leaders will give up their strong positions as willingly as they did in 1932. With neither side appearing inclined to compromise, the path lies wide open for the current situation to escalate into nationwide civil war. Which, staying true to our democratic principles, we will win. Death to the phalangists. Remove nationalist spirit, cars on military disloyalty, political violence, and national strikes. We get disbanded army, which is going to lower our attack. Death before surrender, which is going to increase our surrender limit and minimum surrender limit. We get nationalist Spain gains nationalist spirit, death before surrender, so they also get that. The non-aligned party will now be called Confederación Nacional del Trabajo, Federación Andalucista Iberica. Spain completes focus, maintain the Second Republic. Or we could try to do the anti-fascist workers' revolution, which through the bravery of the working men we will win. And otherwise the effects are essentially the same, or which through communal revolutionary struggle we will win, which means we'll complete the regional focus, Regional Defense Council of Aragon, and that's it. I kind of want to do the maintain the Second Republic thing. That seems like fun to me. Let's do that. Off we go. Maintain Second Republic. Message from nationalist Spain changes their democratic status with us. They declare war. Yep, it has begun. Alright, so we're gonna pick our armies and give them. Alright, so we're kind of okay. We're a bit. These guys are a bit all over the place. I would like them to move here, but I don't think they're gonna be able to do it without dying. So we're gonna assign everybody to. Actually, we can't. Okay, fine. Never mind. Alright, let's grab these two and give them here. And then we're gonna grab maybe the bottom part. No, actually we're gonna pick the side part and give it to a different general. 32 is still too much. So then you also join him. And you also join him. 24 should be good enough. So now we're gonna pick a general who can control up to, okay, we got 21 units. So we give here, we're gonna give the second best guy, so this one. Here we're gonna pick the best man, which is this one. And here we're gonna put, well, someone who we have left, like you. Now we're gonna put them all under this. Actually, we might put this guy away. This is the one with the 10 units, with the 10 on top. Now we're gonna put these two under a field marshal, so we can control them together. And we're gonna pick, all of these field marshals are not the greatest. You've got anti-Stalinist loyalties, reckless, billion strategist, and Republican loyalties. Yep, you've got it. If you want to promote, no, I wanna pick him. Oh, I can't. I have to promote him first. He's already working as someone else. Right, so if I promote you, then 30. Well, we have that. Now let's promote this guy. He's the best. And then we'll pick him. And we're gonna pick somebody else here to be the general like you. Alright, so this guy, he's controlling all of this. So in combat, first thing you want to do is you want to set up your front line. So essentially we want to control all of this. That's where we want to spread our units to hold the front line. And then we're going to pick offensive line. I think we're going to go just like across towards this river. And maybe like that. I think we might have went a bit over the river. That's not what I meant. Like so. We want to kind of hold near the river, I think. Yeah, we're going to try that. So we're just going to try to push through these regions. We'll see how well it goes. And we're going to tell this guy to have everybody run in here if possible. Because, yeah, I think we just want to push through. Well, actually, you know what? No, let's not do that. Let's just try to hold the front line here. I'm going to be attacking them from both directions. So let's first turn off the orders for everybody here. And then I'm going to tell you, come on units, work under him. We're gonna give them the front line of this. We just want them to hold in position. We'll see how well they'll do. Let's see. And he's gonna work carefully, so we don't want to lose. We want to be careful about standing there. We don't want to fight too hard. Now, as for these guys, we're gonna do balanced approach, and that seems pretty good to me. Next up, we've got we're at war. Yeah, we know that. Thank you very much. Free civilian factories. So we could start building things, I guess, here. Because, yeah, we've got space over here. And air wings with no mission assigned. So we're going to add the air wings to these guys. And we're going to tell them to do... Can't do anything? Fly over there and do... Fly over there. We can't tell them to do anything. Naval strikes, okay. And port strikes. Sure, I guess do that. And no divisions with basic training. Alright. So we're gonna start training a new division. So we can set this up over here. We can have multiple divisions set up with the same kind of army, I guess. So actually more units. We're gonna set like 5 units. We're gonna give them a location over here. And they're gonna start training. They're gonna grab equipment. They're gonna slowly start training. Okay? And decisions available. Ooh, war bonds. We need more resources for war economy, and war bonds are just the way to obtain these. We get -5% consumer goods factories. Doesn't seem that great. Is it good? Industrial land appropriation lowers war support. No, we're at war. We don't want that. War bonds. No, I don't know. I don't think so. Let's slow this down so I can show you off the fight. We finished disband the army. National focus bypass distribute arms to people. Alright, so let's pause this. And oh, we can actually get volunteers. The Soviet Union wants to send 7 divisions of the air wings as volunteers to help us out. Yep. Do that. And new national focus. We can now pick... We actually picked to maintain the Second Republic. So now we can pick between new leadership. New leadership is required for the Republic to survive these trying times. We will bring in advisors and ministers with new perspective in how to best combat the fascist threat. We get stability. That'd be nice. Gain base stability 10%. Or infantry. Now let's do ensure loyalty. The government has been betrayed most brutally by its military. The first step to mending this wound is ensuring loyalty of all officers and henceforth appoint. Alright. So let's turn on the time. And what is going to happen now is that our army is slowly going to start moving there and attack these other guys. Let's go back to default map mode so we can see them moving. So at first we're just kind of establishing the front line, and then we're going to slowly going to attack. And these units over there are moving in this direction. Yeah, I don't know. They keep on moving. I don't want you to move. I want you to do what your boss tells you to do. Are you going to do it now? Yeah, like your job. Now, see, this is the thing. Why do they keep going to the right? I don't want you to go to the right. See, they shouldn't be doing that. I want you to do the front line instead, but they seem to be kind of ignoring that, or they just keep trying to march that way. Select half. I don't see anything to remove that. Because this should be removing the orders, but it just doesn't seem to be doing that. What if I tell you all to stay? Would that help? No, it's just adding on to their orders. Okay, well. I guess we're gonna have to just let them have it. Civil war front solidify. which, with only a week of fighting behind us, is already becoming apparent that the Spanish counterside is not well suited for the transport of large quantities of equipment. Difficulties in keeping our front lines and offensive supplied are cropping up, and will only get worse if we continue to attempt fight everywhere at once. Then we will bide our time and strike when the time is right. Unlock Civil offensive on map decisions, allowing removal of the unplanned offensive combat penalties in targeted states. Alright, I think this is a good time to end the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And click on the right top to watch some other games from the same era, like Panzer Corps Unity of Command 2. I'll see you there. Bye bye.